Hello, East Tennessee. We have a tornado warning now issued for Hamlin County. It lasts until 11 o'clock. That's what you see flashing on your screen at this moment. We want to make sure that you are in a safe spot. We've been talking about this not for a few minutes or a few hours, but we've been talking about severe weather for quite some time. Going back to last night was driving that point hard, and now we've had these little waves like the ocean coming crashing into some counties, specifically now affecting areas in Hamlin County. So please be in your safe spot. I'm looking at Hamlin County. I'm looking at Morristown, where there's the concern, where it's also surrounded, the tornado warning is, surrounded by what's called a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. If the word destructive doesn't catch your attention, I don't know what would, but that lasts until 11 o'clock as well. So we have two areas from Crosby to Morristown to Bean Station that's getting hammered right now. That is the biggest concern. If we zoom back out, yes, we have some other active weather. Now Knox County has now been added under a severe thunderstorm warning, but it doesn't carry the moniker destructive. So, it is what it is. It's kind of like a nuance. It's only been instituted a couple of years now, but the idea of having a destructive severe thunderstorm warning and a severe thunderstorm warning, it may be semantics, because you still have 60-mile-an-hour winds, maybe some are 70. We can look at the app and see what is being considered here. But I want to show you what's going on as far as the track. Let me put some towns on here. If you're in the Mooresburg area, about 10:50, that's 5 minutes from now. If you're around Needmore, about 10:54. This is moving east-northeast about 36 miles per hour. The BTI score is not off the chart. It's on the lower end of 3, so it's a 2.8. But that means you're still going to have some damaging wind. It doesn't necessarily mean it's rotating with the way we are concerned about what's going on in the Morristown area. But these are some of the towns that are yet to be affected. You know, if this is rolling through your town now, you're being affected. If you've got a comment, leave me a note. I'm on both Facebook and YouTube, trying to keep you all safe, as well as everybody's family safe during this unsettled period of time. We had a feeling that it would be a prolonged period from afternoon to night, but now we got a bonus. We got active weather in the morning too, so it's not going to necessarily always line up to when, quote-unquote, the models say it'll be here. It comes here when it gets here, so we want to make sure you're aware of that. Monda Poe says, oh my, it's getting bad now. Thank you, Dave, for helping us out, keeping us safe. Glenda Hedge says she's here in Washburn and hails. She has a picture of some hail, which we're going to look at here in just a mere moment, so bear with me. As I'm looking at Facebook, I'm also looking on YouTube. If you've got a YouTube comment, I know some prefer other platforms, but I'm trying to do both so that you can leave me a note. I would love to see it, looking at the Wednesday moniker that says live this Wednesday with severe storms. So we've got potential for severe storms pretty much anywhere in East Tennessee, not only this morning, this afternoon, but also tonight. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch that runs until 4, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Taking a look again, till 11 o'clock, we have a tornado warning for downtown Morristown. This is the time to get into your safe space if you're not there already. And I'm looking at Creek Store. I'm looking at areas, Dover. It's not quite to you yet, but you definitely want to be in a safe spot. If we go ahead and take a look, we'll take off the track in the towns. I think it's important that we take a look at maybe the velocity here. Some of the winds might be very well be off the chart, maybe not so bad. But I will say this, whether we're talking about 36 or 60 or 70 mile an hour winds, you definitely want to take cover. And not trying to overthink it. It's, again, moving through town. It'll be done at 11 o'clock, now 11:30 for some of these in Knox County. As you can see, I got Knox County here. But this actually is a tornado warning until 11 o'clock for Hamlin County. Let me just read to you. If you don't have the Captain Accurate Weather app, I hope you'll get it. You'll have more opportunities to use it later on today and tonight. But it is for Central Granger and Hamlin County till 11 o'clock. The severe thunderstorm was capable of producing a tornado that was near Rutledge. This was time-stamped at 10:26. That was over 20 minutes ago. But this was radar indicated. It had tornado associated with it and golf ball size hail. What does the hail situation look like? We could take a look at that as well. So we can go ahead and look at the threats here, look at some hail. Oh my, look at that hail tracker. Look at the dark purple areas around Beech Grove and Bowen and Bean Station. It's been I'm sure some very interesting pictures in terms of hail in the last few minutes inside now affected the tornado warned area. So if you're on the call, let me know. I'd love to see or hear what you're experiencing. Wanda Poe says it's cloudy here in Newport, and Melissa Sills says it's very low hanging clouds here in Halls. Thank you for that update. But clearly, these hail markers are pretty intense. I believe I can get maybe a track here on some of the, where's my eyedropper? Here it is. Yeah, probable. I'd say it's more than probable. It's quite possible that you've gotten quite a bit of hail in the last few minutes from this storm. And throw in some lightning. This is just like getting hammered all at once with hail, quite a bit of lightning, some downpours, and now we've also got the wind to concern ourselves. They're talking about this thing moving southeast at 30 miles an hour. So it was going to be around Morristown around 10:30. It's now leaving Morristown, and you can see it's now affecting areas closing in on Dover. If you're in Dover, you're in Silver City, you need to get into your safe space, get into your basement, let this thing ride out, because this is all working its way at the moment to the southeast at about 30 miles per hour. I think I could do a little track here, just do a little track on this particular cell in particular. If we move this out to about 30 miles per hour, it's probably going to take me off the screen here. Yeah, let's try this again and start over so we can get that cleared off. But if I zoom back out a little bit more, I can get the 30 miles an hour and give us a good time frame to work from. There's 20, 28, 30, just about 30. There's 30. So we've got some towns on the screen. Dover about 1 minute from now. Dover 10:51, Rocky Point 10:54, and Silver City about 10:56. And you can see the times change as the radar sweeps continue. We're able to get new intel, different time estimate, but they do give you some good intel that you're in the path of what could be a tornado and could cause a lot of damage. We've already seen it affect places like Fentress County, Scott County, Campbell County. The list goes on. But this particular storm is a tornado warning. That's what we can assess. We have a severe thunderstorm watch here, but there's the tornado warning at the bottom of your screen till 11 o'clock for Hamlin County, and surrounding it, they've used the moniker that it's a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. I don't know any non-destructive severe thunderstorm warnings, but that's technically what Knoxville's under, right? Knox County is under a severe thunderstorm warning of the general variety. It gets kind of confusing, but when the winds are a certain speed, I think they elevate this criteria to a destructive severe thunderstorm. And I believe if I look at the data a little bit closer here, yeah, this is a destructive one for Granger and Hamlin County for 80-mile-an-hour winds. So, I mean, there's a difference between where's my mouse here, my cursor, 60-mile-an-hour winds here, right? That was the estimation, 60 to 70. You got 80-mile-an-hour winds potentially affecting areas back here. So 80-mile-an-hour winds has elevated this to a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. Nothing you want to take lightly. Even if you're not in the path of a tornado, you're still going to have a lot of damage, no doubt. Diane Ladyhawk says, hello, been hearing thunder. See Angel White, what about 10 Mile? Well, I can zoom back a little bit further so everybody can feel like they're included in this call, because I want everybody to know we've got severe weather concerns. But 10 Mile, well, some areas, as you get down towards Spring City, Decatur, you're not under the severe thunderstorm watch that runs till 4. So Maryville, Knox County, Sevier County, all under a severe thunderstorm watch till 4 o'clock, which means things are going to still be active for the next couple of hours. That would take us almost 5 hours from now. But what's flashing the most, what's concerning the most, is this little storm. It's not that little, but it's affecting areas in Hamlin County and also into Granger County. So this tornado warning, as I mentioned, runs until 11 a.m. That's about 7 minutes from now. We'll have to wait and see how it is projected. But I want to show you that this wind can probably do quite a few numbers on some power. And I have the ability to take a look at the power outages here as we look at this storm that's now moving through Anderson County. This is the other one, the severe thunderstorm. Let me get some intel on this one too. As we've got a highly populated area coming into Knox County. But this little storm, this storm itself, has winds now moving at 40 miles an hour, and it has estimated 60-mile-an-hour gusts and quarter-size hail for the one in Knox County. The one that's Anderson, central Anderson, talking about Knox, west central Jefferson, also south central Union County, northwestern Sevier County, and southwestern Granger County. This one runs to 11:30. So we've got this particular sign here, and I'm going to draw a little line in here. This is what we're watching, right? Because it's all pushing in. If we just do a little lapse here for the last 30 minutes, you can see how far this thing has come just in the last half hour. And it's rolled right through Norris, it's rolled through Clinton, still affecting Clinton, and now moving toward Karnes, and now moving toward Fountain City and downtown Knoxville. So downtown Knoxville needs to be aware that this will likely be knocking on your door just in a few minutes from now. In fact, we'll go ahead and do a track and see if we can get a little track or get an estimated time on areas in Knox County. This one wants to push it a little bit further east, but it would take it into these town areas around, say, Twinville at 11:04, Blueberry Hills about 11:08. This thing's moving east about 33 miles per hour, and that's a little bit slower than the Weather Service. They had it at about 40. They estimated about 40 miles an hour for this particular cell. But if we did that conjecture, did this at 40, right, and this thing's moving to the east at 40 miles an hour, excuse me, yeah, 40 miles an hour, that would put it right about here, and that would put it into places like Treeville at 10:58, would be around Halls Crossroads at 10:58. Somebody mentioned about Halls. Michael Norman says, I moved my errands into Friday. Yeah. Well, anyway, Diane, you're being very kind. Send me some stars. I appreciate that. Carrie says, thank you for keeping us updated. My pleasure. Ed says it's getting very dark in the Inskip area. One of the things that people love or hate about weather is it's an inexact science, right? People expect to make an appointment, put it in their day timer of when these storms can affect our area. And the truth of the matter is, it's like trying to track waves of the ocean. They can crash on the shore. They can hit. It can hit one child down like not even a quarter mile down the beach, right? Just a few hundred feet from where you're standing, waves could be crashing or cresting. And so these are the things that are inherent challenges with weather. This is one of those situations that we knew the ingredients were right. It just is going to be a prolonged issue, and it's not going to be one event. This day and into the night will not be characterized by just this event. There'll be other opportunities for more severe storms. Watching right now, we're about 4 minutes left. 4 minutes left on the tornado warning that is in Hamlin County. Excuse me, Hamlin County under a tornado warning until 11 o'clock. That's 4 more minutes there. Please get in your safe spot. Morristown itself, things look like they're improving. We'll go ahead and take this off. We've got the Knox County one until 11:30. We've got the destructive severe thunderstorm warning with 80 mile an hour winds, right? That's the huge difference. So we got 80 in here, potentially, and we got 60 mile an hour winds over here. So, well, that's just 20 miles an hour. Well, that's a pretty big 20, right? That's more than just a few trash cans going down the street. That'll take off some shingles. That'll take off a lot of things if you're not careful. So please take these things seriously. If you can't get away from windows, please do so. Get into a safe spot if you're in the path of this tornado or if you're in the tornado warned area. And if you're downwind of it, make sure you get out of the harm's way. This is headed toward Creek Store. It's already on the doorstep of Silver City and Bulls Gap. Not quite in the tornado warning, but you're getting some heavy rain now around Cheeks Crossroads, Cane Mill, and Hyatt Acres. The Whitesburg now getting hammered too with some very heavy rain, and I would imagine quite a bit of hail that's showing up as well. Let me take a look at some of the hail. Yep, look at that. That looks like a pretty good hail signature to me, especially when you see that hail could be over 3 inches in diameter. You say, how is that possible? That would be larger than a golf ball, right? Now suddenly you're getting very large. If this were to verify, 3 inch, 1 inch, there's a lot of hail here now approaching Silver City and Cane Mill, so please take it seriously. Hail is just one aspect of this storm. The worst of it may very well be the winds and the rain all combined, and it's all racing through. Morristown, as you can see on the left side of the screen here, while you're still under the warned area for another 2 minutes, it's really this area here that we're watching, and we can overlay just the last 30 minutes, how this thing has progressed, right? And you can see how there might have been a little implied hook moving across Timbercrest, Barton Springs, enough to cause the Weather Service to say, hey, tornado warning, we're going to keep that in effect until 11 o'clock. And if they need to extend it, so be it. They'll do that. If they're not, if they're just going to let it expire, they may keep the destructive severe thunderstorm warning with 80 mile an hour wind speeds in effect. That may still be in play, but we'll watch that over the next 60 seconds, actually 2 minutes, 120 minutes from now, we'll have a better sense of where we are at this time. So we're flashing over here toward Morristown. I didn't get up the currents. I want to show you the power outages. Yeah, there's quite a few. Maybe not as high as it could be or might be later on today, but we have already, it would appear, to be, let's see, 1,500 people without power in Granger County, about 100 in Claiborne County, and maybe 200 there in Harlan County, Bell County, Bell County, Middlesboro, areas around Claiborne, Tazewell, New Tazewell, 100 people, and about 1,500 power outages so far, Granger County. And I would imagine that could grow easily as these storms continue tonight and into the overnight, as we'll continue to watch the rain situation over time. Back to the radar we go. I want to show you also the future radar, because this is another product that is very helpful in situations like this, because you want to know where's it going to be 60 minutes from now. So this is where it is now. Let me show you. By midday today, look where the rain goes. Looks like it's headed in the direction of Jefferson County. It rolls through Knoxville, right? It's going to roll through Knoxville and then work its way into northern Sevier County by 12 noon today. And some of those red areas maintain their integrity. They're pretty strong. They're not going to weaken dramatically as it leaves Knoxville, but it will likely work its way into Jefferson County and into northern Sevier County and may continue with severe storms. So we want to watch this closely. That's why having the app is very important. You will get the notification in real time. You don't have to wait for someone like me to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey. But the good news is, as we put the laps to a rest, you can see that our flashing severe thunderstorm and tornado warning has disappeared from Morristown. So there is no longer, good news, top of the hour, it's 11 a.m., no longer a severe thunderstorm warning of the destructive kind in Morristown. Morristown, you can take a deep sigh of relief. I'm sure there's quite a bit of damage already in place. Keep in mind, we don't always have all the greatest intel because the radar is right here, right? You got the little cone of silence around Talbot, around Alpha. But that's where the radar is. We do know that there are some showers and downpours in this area, but this one is the main event, and this one's going to run until 11:45. So what was a tornado warning in Morristown has now been downgraded to a 60-mile-an-hour severe thunderstorm warning. This is no longer of the 80. Remember we had 80? This is a 60. This is just the generic severe thunderstorm warning. Still causes damage. Boy, it's going to be a loaded pistol, so to speak, when people start, well, is it a destructive severe thunderstorm warning or is it just a severe thunderstorm warning? Yeah, it's going to be tricky. Either way, 60 or 80 mile an hour winds that you may have experienced today is going to still cause and require cleanup. Cleanup is still going to be in aisle 5, right? We're still going to have issues with cleaning up, power outages, all the rest. But right now, as I'm looking at the severe thunderstorm warning, the new one, as issued at 10:53, it runs until 11:45. It includes Hawkins County, North Central Cocke County, Southeastern Hamlin County, and Southwestern Greene County. Southwestern Greene County included, and they do include it as 60-mile-an-hour winds, right? That's a huge difference than what it was just a few minutes ago. If I go back an hour, you can see back here it was red and it was much stronger. So they do believe this cell is weakening, albeit slightly, but it's not tornadic, and that's the good news, right? This is not showing signs of rotation in that regard. That's a good sign. So we got 60 miles an hour winds, and this will be affecting, do we have some towns I can give you here? Yes. Looks like they're going to be in places like Beech Grove, 1113, Temple Acres, 1113, Huntington Place, 1116. So these are the towns, and you can see their BTI number is on the south side of 3. It's pretty low, 2.7. So this would not scream tornado in this regard. But it is moving at 33 miles an hour. And we can do a check. The Weather Service says this is moving at 30 miles an hour. We zoom back out so I can get some leg room here. Let's just do a little check and follow along with the curvature here. This takes us to about 30 miles an hour right there. And that takes us into Beulah right now. It'll be around Skinner Crossroad, 1106, Mohawk around 1108, and Midway about 1115 if it holds together. So that's the update on this particular storm. I'm going to go back to Knox County because that's where all of our attention is if we're in Knox County, right? We want to make sure that everybody's safe here too. So we have that tornado warning now expired in the Morristown area. We have this other other severe thunderstorm warning, and this runs to 11:30. So this will run for another 27 more minutes in the Knox County area. If we just do a loop of the last 30 minutes, you can see how this has come in. It's almost breaking up into new parts, new pieces. I'll put this on this side so you can see what's going on here. There's the warning. So we have the warning that runs until 11:30, but we have some downpours leaving Clinton, now moving into Fountain City. So if you're in Fountain City, give me a comment. We'd love to say hi. Bob says, how is Crossville? Good question. How is Crossville? You had a little downpour, no doubt, on the north side of town. I can see that, but there is nothing severe in your midst at the moment. The two National Weather Service offices, Nashville, Cumberland, and of course Morristown, governing most of East Tennessee. The only warning that we have right now is the one that we just highlighted for parts of Greene County, Hamlin County, and the one that's now Anderson-Knox. I'm going to go back to that, get more specifics, and see if there's been an update on that. Weather Service is very good about giving us updates on the change in speed, change of direction, on all the rest. But they did initiate this at 10:43 Central Anderson. We're talking Knox County, and we're also talking West Central Jefferson, South Central Union, Northwestern Sevier County, and Southwestern Granger till 11:30. This was over Clinton, just about quarter to 11. It's now, we can see, leaving Clinton and now moving in the direction of Fountain City, but it's got 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail. So we're going to put a stoppage to the loop. I had the question that Bob asked about Crossville. You can see that what's affecting Crossville is really to the north side of town. Bob, you can see Fairfield Glade. It's not affecting Lake Tansy, but I'm sure the skies look pretty dark all the same. And this is not, I repeat, well, as dark as this is, as heavy as this rain is, it is not a severe thunderstorm warning. You could have winds around 40 or 50. That would not hit the criteria, but if it's a 60 or plus, it will show up as a yellow box or polygon. In this case, that's what we have in Knoxville. Their concern was, and is, that we're still dealing with that type of intensity. Let me take a look at some of the hail here. Would appear that we have some hail that's showing up, or did about a half-inch here. Looks like we have some areas. What's amazing is on the right side of your screen, just near Mohawk there, you got 3+. Potentially 2 or 3 2-inch hail would be the larger size of a golf ball. Larger than a golf ball, just to give you an idea. Let me show you what that looks like, because I know that there's sometimes the hail sizes get a little bit confusing, but anything that's an inch or greater is considered severe. So when you're talking about 2-inch hail, it's larger than a golf ball. 3-inch, you could be in tennis ball category. You know, I'm thinking, there's nothing love about a tennis ball hailstone. If you've got 3+ or 2.5, 3-inch size hail, you've got some real issues working on your car or your aluminum siding or your home. And that's what's showing up over here that may have fallen in the Bulls Gap area around Silver City and maybe around Nenny. These areas have been hit pretty hard, I would imagine, with the hail, no doubt. Looking at some of your comments, Bob says, thanks, David, you're more than welcome. Ed says, we have some thunder and beginning to rain in the Inskip area. Let me go ahead, because I know, well, hail might get the juices flowing. It's like, man, it's a bad storm because of hail. I think what's a bad storm is if you lose some shingles off your roof, or if your shed gets destroyed. That's a big problem. But I am happy to report, when I came on, I guess back just before 10:45, you had a flashing tornado warning in Hamlin County. That's gone. We had a flashing, 2 of them, destructive severe thunderstorm warning, which usually is 80 mile-an-hour gusts, right? But we have 2 regular, no frills, 60 mile-an-hour winds. That's what's happening in parts of Knox County, and it looks like they took the city of Knoxville out of the mix. Did you notice that? Our severe thunderstorm warning that's approaching Greenville is to the west of the county, and the one that's now moving into places like northeastern Knox County, they did remove it from Knoxville proper. So we have some downpours, I'm sure, in Powell, in High School, in Carnes, in Hardin Valley. You probably hear the rain coming down in Bearden, but good to report, you're not under a severe thunderstorm warning. In fact, they just popped it all off. Look at that. How's that for an audible? I know Peyton Manning's known for yelling Omaha, but they just yelled in Omaha in Morristown. What does that mean? I mean, they just called an audible. This thing was supposed to expire at what time? 11:30. I heard you say 11:30. Exactly. And it's only 11:09. So they pulled the plug at 11:09, 11:08, about 20 minutes before it was scheduled to go away. So that's good news. That means you can grab an early lunch, hopefully, without the worry that you have a 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. But we do have some strong winds. I don't want to dismiss that. I do know that we look at the velocity, take off the other warned areas. But when you see some of the bright colors, you got 48-mile-an-hour winds here, maybe 35 here. There's been some 44s on the other side. So there's going to be some strong winds, but they may not reach the criteria. You like that word? That's a Weather Service word. Haven't reached the criteria of 60. So if we hit a 60 criteria, you'll get a new warning later today, tonight, and we're not going to be done with just this event. We've got more activity tonight. This is just one wave. Think of this, I use that often because I think it's very descriptive. We usually put our toes in the sand and we don't think about much of anything at the beach, but there's a lot to see at the beach, right? The tide goes in, the tide goes out, temperatures go up, temperatures go down, humidity goes up, humidity goes down. Humidity's high today, so we've got the possibility of more storms that are going to be quite active. And when I say active, look at this. I mean, can you dispute, can you argue that we've got lots of lightning? Over 2,500 lightning strikes flashed across the screen. And that's just in the last few minutes. So keep in mind, the storms are active. It's not like you let your dog out the back door and let them run free. You will know that you've got some storms and downpours coming through, but it's not severe. LB Johnson says, how bad is Mayor Springs Campground? Well, that's one of the beautiful things about the app, LB. You can zoom in and do a little time lapse. It'll show you 2 hours past, 2 hours into the future, and stops, of course, in the present. So that's a great tool to have. You can get hyper local with the app. Gardner Fritz says, hi David, is the severe storms moving in earlier than expected? I would say it's just one particular wave, but yes, they can move in and have moved in at a faster pace or clip than one might have expected. I always like to say, models, as good as they are, and there's a lot of model worshipers out there, a lot of would-be weather people, and even professional weather people, that get too much worked up about what the models say, because you have to react and do what our friends at the Weather Service just did. They adapted. Because we had a severe thunderstorm warning. We had one that's supposed to expire 11:30. Well, it's only 11:11. How come it's gone? Because they looked at the data, they looked at the scans, and they said, this is not worth keeping in effect. The only severe thunderstorm warning that we have on this map is affecting Mohawk. That's it. Downpours in Wartburg? Yes. Downpours in Cumberland County? Yes. And, we still have, don't dismiss this. We got a severe thunderstorm watch until 4 p.m. That's like having a preheated oven. Doesn't guarantee you get baked goods with a preheated oven, but boy, it's close, right? We got the ingredients. They're all on the kitchen table. They're all on the kitchen island. You got the baked goods ingredients, and the oven's preheated. Now you're just waiting for the oven to go ding, and then all of a sudden it's game on again, right? This runs till 4. So we've got to stay alert until 4 o'clock for some new development. And I think we're going to have another round of it later tonight. Flooding will be another issue, but there could be, he says, there could be a benefit to this rain, because sometimes this rain can not make it unsettled, but maybe stabilize things a bit. It maybe won't be as unsettled. If we had heated up into the low to mid 80s and a front comes through, then some of the storms can be even more aggressive. But we've seen that already in late morning into the, it's not even midday yet, right? It's 11:12. But the severe thunderstorm warning here that affects Greenville runs to 11:45. Really, the concern here would be the one around Mohawk. We could do a little check here, see if we got a little track, one up here, up over toward Bulls Gap. Yeah, these are the storms that would be in this line, but this is until 11:45. This also has a BTI score that's very low. It's less than 3. Again, if BTI scales, it's a Barron Tornado Index, runs from 0 to 10. So if it's a 7, if it's an 8, it's a 9, that's when you really got to get into your safe space. But this is a 2.7. So it's not as concerning. It's just one parameter that we like to look at. It's a convenient parameter because if you're in a pinch, you can look at the cloud tops at 36,300 feet all day long. But if you're not keeping an eye on all the ingredients, sometimes it's nice to have the intel of a Barron Tornado Index. That's also on the app, and it shows up on your notification screen when it applies to you. It will not be something you just hunt and peck for, but it'll show up if it applies to you. So if you're in Marvin, if you're in Beech Grove and you have my app, good chance that you've got a BTI score on your phone, because that would have been naturally showing up there. But this Hawkins County, it also affects Greene County until 11:45. I want to go back and see if we have any new power outages. I got another track here. These little arrows are nice and convenient, as the Barron radar is giving us some great intel as far as the timing, but it puts it in Corriton about 11:23, Maynardville at 11:27. Kathy Nichols Coffee, you're very sweet, sending me some stars. I appreciate your time. Deborah says heavy thunder near Panther Creek Road, Morristown. If you have a picture of some hail, post it in the comments section while we're chit-chatting, because I'll look at it. I would love to see what you experienced. And I know it wasn't sunshine and lollipops today. It's been very traumatic. But if you are on the call, would love to know what you're seeing in terms of the severe weather. And I'm looking at the comments coming in. Wanda Post says, be safe. And I love Kathy's note, prayers for your sister and family. She's talking about to another viewer about Terry Slover on there, his brother married to his sister. Okay, so anyway, meanwhile, the new track for Knoxville, right? Even though it's not classified as severe, we have a pretty strong thunderstorm. And how often have we said some of these storms could be strong to severe? They don't always have to reach the severe level. They could be just strong. And I would fairly agree with you. I would agree that the one that's going through Knoxville right now is strong. It's affecting North Knoxville here in about 5 minutes, more so than maybe now. Imes Nature Center, 11:22, and Ramsey there at 11:25. If you're around the forks of the river, you may find the storms pick up in intensity by 11:26, and Chehowee Hills at 11:27. So these are just some estimated times based on the center of this circulation. You can see in Knoxville right here. This storm is moving to the east at this point. Do we have a, I believe we have, right there, yep, it's moving east-northeast at 22 miles per hour. So the severe thunderstorm watch just means that we have the conditions that are favorable, but we also have at this time the movement is moving to the east-northeast about 22 miles per hour. So that's what's going on. Raining very hard now in South Knoxville. Some of you might be watching us around, say, Imes Nature Center. We have Park City, up on I-40 West, up toward Rutledge Pike, Loveland, some downpours here, Kings Valley, really heavy rain around 3 Points, and Mascot, where we may still be getting some hail, as shaded potentially in the purple areas. But if we do just the loop here, let me take that off for a second, go back and take a look at the velocity. Some of these winds that we were talking about get kind of bright. They are bright back here, so you're talking about winds that might be closing in on 38 or 44 mile an hour gusts. So there's still quite a bit of activity going on. Marilyn, you're very kind. Thank you for your stars. Kathy for your stars. Renee is talking about heavy thunder in Morristown along Panther Creek. And I believe that we're pretty close to Morristown. Here's Morristown looking at some of the winds, though. But I want to go back to the radar. Actually, let's take a look at the swath for the rotation. There must have been something different, as I take this off, there must have been something different about the environment to cause the Weather Service to have issued that tornado warning in Hamlin County. And the answer is look at the rotation tracker. If we go back over the last 30 minutes, maybe let's go back an hour or 2 hours. Let's do back 2 hours. You can see that the weak rotation is in green and the stronger at the legend at the top is brown, burgundy, right? So you can see over time, around 10 o'clock, it got really aggressive and it became somewhat extreme just as it left Rutledge and moved in the direction of Morristown. So the rotation tracker does a good job at detecting possible rotation that was going on with shear. And you can see these little areas in yellow would be the extreme areas. And it's moving toward Alpha and Talbot. Of course, there's a little donut hole. I talked about that as the cone of silence because we have a radar that's there. And it can't see its toes, right? The radar can't see beneath the radar sight, so there's some areas that are going to be perpetually dark. But you can see this would include Panther Creek, and I was taking a note of that from the note from earlier there on our Facebook, looking at the comment from Deborah. Deborah was talking about Panther Creek Road. So that was the rotation tracker. The good news is some of those burgundy colors and yellow have faded off, and it's no longer reaching the same intensity into Mohawk and Greenville, thankfully. So that's where things are on that. Let's see where we can do some other goodies in here to take a look at more intel. I think we have also maybe the shear. Yep, see, we have a little hint of some rotation there that just passed north of Morristown an hour ago, but it's not as convincing as it did just an hour or two ago with that detector. So we'll go back to the radar. It is now 11:19, so we're looking at the radar at this point, and we'll take the looping off because that's distracting at this point. But if you've got a comment, let me know. Nothing severe at this point in Knoxville. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for Greene County till 11:45. That's a little less than a half hour from now. But if, and it's a big if this cell here, right, we're going to do future radar here in a second, if this moves into the Knoxville area, well, Knoxville's already rain cooled, right? So it's lost some of its buoyancy. It's lost some of its dramatic rise in temperature and air currents in many regards because it's been pouring down rain. It's more stable. So these rain showers may not get any stronger than they are right now. The one that's moving out of Greenville, heading maybe into the direction of the Tri-Cities, that's something we'll be watching as it may move south of Johnson City proper. But that's where things are at the moment, and we'll keep an eye on that. But as I mentioned, we have a severe thunderstorm watch until 4 o'clock. Clearly, I believe Gardner was asking, did it come in sooner? It has definitely come in sooner to start, but now we'll be mindful that do we clear out and does the sun break out? You know, those are some good questions. Does the sun start breaking out later today? One way to look at that would be to look at the visible satellite. If we start to see more sunshine like Memphis has, and we start heating back up later today, if we get in the upper 70s back to low 80s, it's clearing out south of Jackson, Tennessee, right? We could suddenly add more buoyancy, more lift to the atmosphere, and we could be doing this all over again in stages, in waves. So we're not going to be completely, we're not going to let our guard down. We have mentioned earlier today, if you saw us, we talked about the possibility of tornadoes and hail and damaging wind. They're still all on the table. We just want to make sure that you are prepared. And having multiple sources of information is key. Having a NOAA weather radio, having a Captain Accurate weather app, for example, are great ways. And you can follow on X, formerly Twitter. X, formerly Twitter, you can follow the National Weather Service and get the immediate updates when they do issue them on formerly Twitter. I still call it Twitter by habit. But that's just one of the aspects of getting the information, very important, so that you can take the necessary precautions to stay healthy. And one more time, I'm going to go back to the future scan as I'm going to wrap things up here. But I'm looking at this future radar, which you can get on the app. Now, this just goes back an hour, but on the app, you can take it out to 2 hours. This is where it is now. Let's take off the banner there a little bit, and let's see where this will go. Showers that are in Crossville or Cumberland County move toward Harriman and move toward Lenoir City. So Lenoir City, you're going to get what's in northern Cumberland County in the next 60 minutes, it would appear. Clinton will still get more rain, maybe more moderate rain than what you've already had. And the storms that are bound Knoxville and Imes Nature Center look like they're heading toward Newport. So this is future radar, not to be confused with the current. But if we were in a time machine and we went forward of 60 minutes, this is where we're likely to see those storms. The storm that's now affecting Greenville does move south of Johnson City, as I just estimated a moment ago. So we got a shower storm that's going to move south of Johnson City. The storminess that's in the Imes Nature Center area will move toward Newport and roll through Jefferson City and Dandridge. And then the one that's in Cumberland County looks like it's moving into Clinton again. That's the future radar, as it were. And last check, let's take a look at the radar. If you have any comments, let me know. Kelsey says Lenoir City in the safe zone. I wouldn't say that, not just yet. There's no safe zone today, Kelsey, until we get this front through on Thursday. We've got heavy rain potential. It's just, pick your favorite hazard. Is it rain? Is it wind? Is it hail? Yes, yes, and yes, right? We've got potential for all of that. And let's go back. I had my flashing power outages. I didn't mean to skip that. Let's go back to total here. And so there it is, 11:15, the most update, because updates every 15 minutes. So I've got Morristown and Hamlin County now has 1,000 people without electricity. Imagine them having no power for lunch. 2,500 without power in Granger County and into Claiborne County, 200. So if I did my math, that's what, 3,700 people without power locally, and that could grow. So what intel we have is that this has caused damage in terms of trees, power outages, the whole 9 yards. And of course, we'll get more information from the Weather Service if, in fact, a tornado occurred, because that usually takes place or is confirmed the day after when they have time to do an assessment. But that's the power outages. Wanted you to have that information. So we'll take this back off, and I'm going to wrap things up here. It's now 11:24. The good news is we have no severe thunderstorm warnings in Knox County. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch. That is vastly different. That just means the conditions are favorable. Conditions are ripe for more severe storms, but actively just some heavy rain and downpours on the east side of town, particularly in the Knox County area. And I'm looking at some purple areas around Asbury, Riverdale, and Mascot and Carter, and it's moving towards Seven Islands and Boyd's Creek. That means Kodak, you're next in line. As we saw from the future radar, it's going to be headed toward Newport. May affect Dandridge here in the next 30 to 60 minutes, but the one that's over toward Mohawk, now improving in Mohawk, now moving toward Greenville. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that does last another 20 minutes or so. So hopefully that gives you some help in the situation. Thank you so much for your note. Switching over to YouTube Live, says Diane, appreciate your time. I will cut in as needed, and if I can and will, give you as many updates as I can. I want you to stay informed, but just know that this is not probably the last of what we're going to deal with. And if you see sunshine popping out today, that could work against us later on because the front still has yet to come through. That comes in tomorrow, and tomorrow evening we'll see a drop in the humidity. Thank you so much for your time. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.